Welcome back to another episode of today's Economic News, where we dissect the headlines to uncover the truths and implications behind the numbers. I'm John, your host, taking you deep into the issues that matter. Today, we're entering the turbulent waters of the Save Women's Sports Cultural War timeline of 2025, a storyline filled with political maneuverings, legal battles, and societal debates about fairness and rights, which have intensified under a heavy political spotlight. This episode promises a comprehensive exploration of the dynamics at play. Now, before we dive right into the core, let's frame the backdrop that has led to today's heated discourse. Picture this: it's the early 2020s, and the conversation around transgender rights, especially in the context of women's sports, is starting to boil over. Fueled by a broader debate over gender identity, this conversation soon finds itself at the center of the cultural stage in the United States. Fundamental to this dialogue is Title IX, the federal law that mandates gender equality in education and sports, which becomes a central pivot point in these discussions. Add into this 1009 the Trump administration's political climate, which has already stirred the pot with its policies and rhetoric, both of which have laid fertile ground for what was to come. Fast forward to the 2024 election cycle, a pivotal moment when candidates and parties are forced to engage with public sentiment that seems increasingly divided on the issue of transgender athletes. The Democrats, reeling from an election defeat, find themselves under immense pressure to reconcile their positions with the evolving views of their constituents. This pressure only intensifies as Donald Trump re-enters the political arena, recalibrating his resources to advocate strongly for policies that claim to protect the essence of women's sports. And so, here we are in 2025, standing on this stage of amplified tension. Let's unravel the data that punctuates this timeline. Post the Democrats' retreat from the 2024 elections, we see swift political maneuvers. On January 14, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act is passed by the House of Representatives. This landmark legislation serves as the first notable legislative stand for those who argue that protecting women's sports is paramount. Just weeks later, on February 5th, comes a decisive executive order from President Trump. It freezes $175 million in federal funding to the University of Pennsylvania, dramatically underlining the financial stakes and political commitment to this issue. Imagine if you had to withhold such a sum from your own budget. The scale is monumental. April 1st marks another battleground with California, where the state blocks two significant bills, setting the stage for a contentious tug-of-war between state and federal authorities. Then on May 7th, the congressional hearing titled Unfair Play, Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports unfolds as a public forum to air grievances and perspectives on fairness. By June 9th, California schools face a daunting DOJ deadline, a bureaucratic maze that demonstrates the complex challenges this issue has spawned. It isn't until July 3rd that the Supreme Court agrees to review several high-profile cases, an acknowledgement of the significant legal questions at stake. And what about quotes from our leaders, possibly accurate reflections or misjudgments of public opinion? When politicians ask, do you think they should or should not be allowed to compete? Or express that we have to consider biological factors, it's hard not to question if they understand the broader implications of their statements. Do they genuinely believe rhetoric can substitute for nuanced policymaking? Now here comes my libertarian viewpoint, a perspective where I see the creeping hand of government involvement leading us astray. The costs are mounting, both monetarily and philosophically. As the government dedicates more funds towards enforcement and compliance in educational settings, what we end up with is an inflated financial burden that taxpayers shoulder. The complexity of these laws and mandates showcase nothing but bureaucratic inefficiency. Does anyone truly think these interventions will lead us to viable, equitable solutions for all involved? Probably not. And let's not overlook the unprecedented invasion of liberty. Do the people not have a right to govern such deeply personal and local issues? In conclusion, as we wrap up this episode, consider this. Are we on the brink of sacrificing both the integrity of sports and our liberties under the guise of protection? If you are weary of shouldering the burden of these political missteps and navigating the disarray left in their wake, I urge you to take action. Subscribe to stay informed and engaged. Together, let's remain vigilant in building an informed and free society. Until next time, I'm John, signing off.